Have you ever wondered what the world would look like today if we hadn't lost centuries of knowledge? Imagine a single place, a magnificent building holding the collective wisdom of the entire ancient world. Science, medicine, groundbreaking inventions, lost histories, profound philosophies. All under one roof. That place was real. It was the Library of Alexandria, and its disappearance might be the single greatest intellectual catastrophe in human history, a loss that arguably set our progress back by hundreds, if not thousands, of years. So, what was this legendary library? Let's travel back in time to the 3rd century BC, to the bustling cosmopolitan city of Alexandria in Egypt. Founded by the Greek general Ptolemy, who had served under Alexander the Great. The city was becoming the intellectual and cultural capital of the world. It was his son, Ptolemy II Philadelphus, who, inspired by this grand vision, commissioned the creation of a library with an unprecedented goal to acquire a copy of every single manuscript on Earth. This wasn't just a casual collection, it was a state-sponsored mission of staggering ambition. Imagine the scene. Ships from all over the known world, from Greece, Persia, India, and beyond would dock at Alexandria's great harbour. By royal decree, these ships were systematically searched, not for contraband or treasures, but for books. Any scroll or manuscript found was confiscated. A team of highly skilled scribes would then meticulously copy the text. The original was kept for the library's collection, and the newly made copy was returned to its owner. It was a bold, almost ruthless pursuit of knowledge. Through this policy and active acquisition from book markets, the library's collection swelled at an astonishing rate. Ancient sources, though they vary, suggest the library grew to hold anywhere from 40,000 to an incredible 400,000 scrolls. Can you even picture it? Endless halls, shelf after shelf, stacked with the accumulated wisdom of humanity. This wasn't just a dusty warehouse for scrolls. The Library of Alexandria was part of a larger research institution called the Musam, the House of the Muses. It was the world's first true university. The greatest minds of the age were invited to live and work there, all expenses paid by the state. Mathematicians, astronomers, physicians, poets, philosophers, they all gathered in Alexandria to study, debate, and build upon the knowledge stored within the library's walls. Think of the geniuses who walked these halls. Eratosthenes, the head librarian who, with just a stick and his intellect, calculated the circumference of the earth with astonishing accuracy. Euclid, the father of geometry, whose principles are still taught in classrooms today. Archimedes, the brilliant inventor and physicist, likely studied there. Hero of Alexandria, an engineer who documented a primitive steam engine, the Eolipile, nearly 2,000 years before James Watt. Claudius Ptolemy, whose astronomical models of the universe would dominate Western thought for over 1,400 years. This place was a crucible of innovation. The library wasn't just storing knowledge, it was actively creating it. So, what exactly was lost? This is where the story turns from history to a haunting mystery. The scrolls contained not just poetry and philosophy, but hard science and advanced technology. There were detailed astronomical charts that may have mapped constellations we didn't rediscover for centuries. There were medical texts from ancient Egyptian and Greek physicians, detailing surgical procedures and herbal remedies whose secrets might now be lost forever. Imagine lost works of history, like a comprehensive history of the world, written by a Babylonian priest named Berassus, or the complete unabridged plays of Sophocles and Euripides, of which we now only have a fraction. Perhaps most tantalizing is the thought of lost technology. We know Hero of Alexandria described automatory robots and that Eolopile were these mere novelties, or were they the seeds of an industrial revolution that could have happened in the Roman era? Did the library hold blueprints for advanced construction techniques, forgotten chemical formulas, or even maps of lands that wouldn't be charted by Europeans for another millennium? The truth is, we don't know for sure. The loss is like a black hole in our historical record. We can only speculate on the brilliance that was erased. This brings us to the most debated question of all. How did it all vanish? The story isn't a single dramatic event, but a slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts over several centuries. The popular culprit is Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, while pursuing his rival Pompey in Alexandria, Caesar found himself besieged. To gain a tactical advantage, he ordered the Egyptian fleet in the harbor to be set on fire. The story goes that the flames spread from the docks to the parts of the city nearest the shore, engulfing a warehouse containing scrolls and possibly damaging the library itself. While this event likely caused significant damage and loss of scrolls, most modern historians agree it didn't destroy the entire library. It was a major blow, but not the final one. The library survived, albeit wounded, but the centuries that followed were not kind. The institution suffered from declining patronage, political instability, and civil strife. In the 3rd century AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian, while quelling a revolt in Alexandria, destroyed the Bruchian Quarter, the district where the main library was located. This was a devastating blow, likely wiping out what was left of the original Great Hall. Then came the religious purges. In 391 AD, Theophilus, the fiercely zealous patriarch of Alexandria, led a mob to destroy the Serapeum. This was a grand temple that also housed a daughter library, a significant collection of scrolls, possibly a refuge for texts saved from the main library's decline. On his orders, this pagan temple and its precious contents were obliterated in the name of Christianity. This event is often cited as the true final death knell for the great institution. Any scrolls that survived all this were likely lost to neglect, decay, and the passage of time. The story of a final, grand burning during the Muslim conquest in the 7th century is now largely considered by historians to be a later fabrication. So, the Library of Alexandria wasn't destroyed in one cataclysmic fire. It was bled dry over 700 years by war, political neglect, and ideological fanaticism. Each event was a tear in the fabric of our collective memory. What is the legacy of this lost wonder? It's a powerful and tragic symbol. It represents the peak of humanity's ambition to understand the universe and our place in it. But it also serves as a stark warning about how fragile knowledge is. It shows us how easily the treasures of civilization can be wiped out by fire, by war, and by intolerance. When we look at the internet today, this vast, decentralized Library of Alexandria for the modern age, we see both the dream and the danger. We have more information at our fingertips than Ptolemy could have ever imagined. But we also face new threats: misinformation, digital decay, and the risk that valuable knowledge can be buried or erased in an instant. The story of the Library of Alexandria is more than just a tale of old books. It's a ghost story. It's the story of a future that might have been a world that could have been centuries more advanced. It reminds us that knowledge is the most precious thing we have, and that we have a sacred duty not just to create it, but to protect it, preserve it, and pass it on. Because once it's gone, it can be lost forever. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the greatest mysteries of history. Let me know in the comments what you think was the most significant piece of knowledge lost in the library's destruction. Until next time, stay curious.